Hello, I'm Lydia Talbot. Welcome to Sanctuary. Lutheran Child and Family Services traces its roots to 1873, when several Lutheran churches in northern Illinois established the German Evangelical Lutheran Orphan Home in Addison, Illinois. Opening its doors that year to 6 young children, the orphan home grew quickly and expanded its services. Today, Lutheran Child and Family Services works to improve the well-being of people across the state of Illinois by protecting children, strengthening families, and building futures for those who have suffered trauma, including people of all faiths, races, orientations, and ethnic backgrounds. In this edition of Sanctuary, we step inside 3 Chicago area stories of people whose lives are transformed by hard work, expertise, and passionate, faith-centered compassion that will challenge what you think about the power of faith to change lives.
LCFS has been around for over 140 years. Its roots start as an orphanage in the Addison area and has since grown to a statewide agency serving children and families. So our history and roots are deeply embedded in the Lutheran ministry. We consider ourselves a social ministry, our way of giving back to humanity in God's name. Regenerations is a program we started at Lutheran Child and Family Services about 11 years ago. We were hearing from the department that there were a number of youth, adolescents in particular, who were in foster care but also had been or are involved with the criminal juvenile justice system, and there was no place to serve them. Lutheran Child and Family Services, along with a partner agency, Youth Advocate Program, created a program and submitted it to the department, and it got funded. So here we are 12 years later still doing that.
My name is Arlene Mitchell. I'm a program manager for Lutheran Child and Family Services in Chicago. Most of the youth that come to us in a couple of different ways, but they all come to us through DCFS. And it's always because they are either currently involved with the juvenile justice system, they have had a significant history of involvement with the juvenile justice system, which puts them at risk of future involvement, or they may be just really closely affiliated with folks in the similar situation.
I think we are our brother's keeper, and that it's important for all of us when we see somebody struggling to pause and ask, can we help? And those small things matter to people and may make all the difference.
Kenneth is my name. I grew up as Inglewood, Southside Inglewood. It was cool. It was always a little wild on another type of level, but it was cool. Everybody was friendly, you know. Especially being a kid at the time, I wasn't into. But it was, I don't know, I guess it was just regular to me though, because I was there. I don't know, so I can't really say.
Kenneth is a young man who was involved with the Regenerations program, the original team. He emancipated relatively recently. And you know, he's very typical of our youth. He's got one foot in one world and a foot in another world, and he's a really great kid. He's really intelligent. He's very charismatic. He's a good-looking kid, and he's got talent. You know, he has a musical career that I think has the possibility of going a long way because he is really, truly talented. He's not just your run-of-the-mill kind of guy.
When I was a kid, I really lived with my sister since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I used to steal a lot when I was little. My mother couldn't take care of us. I guess she couldn't take care of us because my sister had guardianship since I was like 5. So the first time I got in trouble with the law in Inglewood, it was for some drugs. Weed, that was something regular, I ain't gonna lie. My sister, she had to vacate guardianship with me. As I was in the juvenile detention, that's when I got in touch with LCFS. LCFS protected me in many ways, but the main way, like I said, is because they kept me with a place to stay. I had somewhere to go because of LCFS.
Our first job is to go and meet the young person and talk to them and get their perspective and ask them where would they like to go? What is it they want to do? Who in their life matters? We then go and find family, usually based on what they tell us. And then in talking to people, you get other people. And we develop a plan together about when you get released, this is where you're going to go to live. And then we work on what we call a service plan, like getting back in school. What kind of hobbies do you have? Getting them involved in extracurricular activities.
I say my best foster home placement was Mama T. Even though I don't know why at all, because Mama T was like a drill sergeant. And she wasn't gonna change for nobody, like for real. She had her rules and her rules was her rules, but she was Mama T. 9 times out of 10, when she started talking to me, when I did something, she started crying. And then that stuff like that gonna make me start listening, you know. When somebody started crying, I started crying too. I started tearing up. I be like, all right, come on, Mama T. I get to looking like. An LCFS advocate is someone you can call and they'll help you like as fast as they can.
An advocate is somebody who is there by your side no matter what, through thick and thin, right or wrong, giving you some guidance and some support even when you take those missteps. Kenneth was a youth who came from the Inglewood community of Chicago, and everything stereotypical that a youth in that community could be at risk for, Kenneth was. You know, some really hard work that was done with Kenneth, by Kenneth, with his advocate, with his caseworker. We were able to bring him along a very long way.
The regeneration program had lots of activities to keep me busy and out the streets and out of trouble plenty of times. I was 15, 16 when I first started doing recording and stuff. Like, it was a little cheap studio in the hood that this guy had, and I just go there every day and make practice songs, and I started getting compliments.
When you see me up top, I bet my people ain't gon' hurt no more. To be a star, you gotta make it through that hurt before. I'm tryna make it so the family ain't gotta work no more. I'm tryna make it so my boys ain't selling work no more.
You know, no matter what we think of individuals who do these kinds of things, one, they're children, and they're not beyond salvation. The other part of that is that these children grow up and they live in our communities. If we want to keep ourselves safe, if we want our children to be safe, if we want them to grow up healthy and happy, then the environment needs to have those same kinds of people in it. So no matter how those children have come to us, we need to restore them and return them back to the community in the best shape possible.
I ain't playing for my homie on the shirt no more. It's for my mans and the kid who can't see earth no more.
Kenneth, unfortunately, still has friends that are in the community that are doing some of the things that he was able to turn his back to. But, you know, they're still his friends. And so he found himself in a situation where, you know, he may have to pay for just maintaining those friendships. But he's a great kid, and I hope this all turns out well for him.
When you see me up top, I bet my people ain't gon' hurt no more.
The LCFS And regeneration program supported me as an artist. They let me know that it sounds like I actually can go somewhere, you know, and that they actually believe in me. LCFS has helped build my future, and that's all I needed. Like, it means a lot to know that all I have to do is pick up the phone and call, because there's a lot of people out here that can't do that.
These same teenagers that do some really unfortunate things in the community, you'd be really surprised that there are other sides to them. They're a lot more complex than what their story in DCFS would suggest, or what the news story sometimes would suggest. These are kids who love their families. These are kids who are nurturing to the younger people in their family. These are things that I've witnessed for myself. Those are some of the things that also keep me encouraged, because I know that all of these kids that I've met through all these 25 years that I've been doing this work, they have a capacity to do better things and great things if we work with them and get them past their current hurdles.
Well, my childhood was very emotional. It's like an emotional roller coaster. At the age of 11, I was burned with sulfuric acid. This is something that changed my life forever. I was burned 75% of my body. It was the year of 2010. My mom just moved me and my sister with her new boyfriend on 55th and Morgan. Yeah, a couple weeks before we was to start our new school. A boy, he was 14, I was 11 at the time, and he liked me. I liked him, but I couldn't have a boyfriend, so that's all I could do was like him. And we was sitting on the back porch. My mother happened to come downstairs and saw that. She told him to stay away from me, and I guess he got mad. Everything just happened so fast. Next thing I know, I felt hot liquid coming from above, like just splashed. I looked, my skin's breaking out. The ambulance came and got me, put me on a stretcher, and before I can go in the ambulance, I see the boy in handcuffs. We sued the building and we won the case. My mom would spend the money that was supposed to be on me on herself. I didn't know until a family member told me. My mom wasn't home for weeks, leaving the house with no food, nothing. I was hurt. I felt like she didn't care.
And then that way, if you know you're always filling your modules by one question.
Our largest program is what we call our foster care program, and that is where it's been determined that children cannot stay with their families because of child abuse and neglect, and they come into foster care. And we're statewide with offices to serve that population. In addition to that, we have an adoption program that includes birth parent counseling. So a birth parent who's not sure, who find themselves pregnant but not sure what option they want, we provide services around them, helping them sort through what their different options are, as well as working with people who want to adopt children. Nala is a young woman who we began service when she was 11 years old, where lye was thrown on her and disfigured her pretty badly, who's been in care with us. She has a terrific, wonderful foster parent who's been with her.
LCFS helped me by taking me out of a bad place that I should have been gone a long time ago. DCFS and LCFS came into my life after they found out I wasn't going to school. That's when my aunt actually stepped into my life. LCFS helped my aunt become my permanent guardian. My auntie is like my mother. I love her with all my heart, and I am so grateful that she has took me in permanently and teach me things that I wish I've learned with my mom. She's the heart of the family. LCFS helped me get into therapy. The therapy helped me with coping skills, breathing. I love the meditating. She bought me a mat for Christmas, a yoga mat for Christmas. Poetry is my happy place. When I write poetry, it makes me feel that anything and everything is okay. Pick up the pen with the font, the pen that engrave on the paper that the ink sinks through the creaks of the line of the segment that bend the seeks the emotion in every stroke and flow of this pen. Like, I really have to just say, sit down, get your notebook in your pen and write. I don't care what it is. It could be what you did today. Just write. And I felt the poem coming on. This feeling I'm feeling inside, just let it out. The things I'm thinking is nothing to play about. Sometimes I just want to scream and shout. This feeling I'm feeling inside, all because you lied. All the nights you shut me out and I cried. The next day, I gather my thoughts and I swallow my pride. See, you left me without saying goodbye. Every time I see you, it's not a hello or a hi. You picked them over me. You was my everything I wanted to be. I wish something would have cleared your peripheral vision so you can see all the damage you set out for me, my mama. LCFS gave me the ability to build my future by giving me my life back. Room in your heart, to me, means throughout all the bad things that you've been through and the heartache, you feel like there's no hope. But there's some room, because a heart is big. The heart itself is big. There's always room.
Foster care is not a long-term option for children. It is intended to be temporary, a place where children who otherwise would not be safe can be safe and nourished, but also gives us the opportunity to work with their parents to figure out what went wrong, what needs to get right so the children can be reunified with their parents. About 70% or so of our children end up going back with their birth parents or family. The other are adopted, and usually by their foster parent.
We knew before we even got married that we wanted to grow our family in an unconventional way. That's when we decided to go down the foster care route and put it in God's hands. Like, we didn't go in right away. You don't expect to adopt the first placement that you get. It just so happened that that's what happened with us. I did tons of research, because when I decide to do something, I research like it's my job. And LCFS seemed to have the biggest reach. It was a bigger agency. So that's kind of how we landed there and decided to go through the foster care route.
Being a foster parent means a temporary arrangement, taking a child into your home, loving them as if he or she was your own child, but also have the ability to let them go back home.
At the time, it's like, yeah, of course, I'm open to that, right? And then as we get to that point, it was, Kelly always takes us on our families on adventures, I guess you would say, and this is just another one of those adventures.
Lutheran Child and Family Services just felt right. We were very active with our caseworker. She was so easy to get a hold of and was very much so on top of the case, helping us. Lutheran Child and Family Services got us registered into the Pride classes. It was for us, thankfully, and I don't know how often they are now, but it was right around the corner, so we finished paperwork in October, which happens to be when our boys were actually born, and then we were in the January class and finished the end of February.
There wasn't a question that I couldn't ask that they wouldn't answer.
Then we were licensed, ready to go.
The last day of Pride was Saturday. Sunday morning, we get out of church, and then we get the call, hey, we got 2 kids for you, twin boys for you. That's all we heard. And then obviously, I said one kid at first. I'm willing to do one kid. So, I said, all right, we'll do two. They're twins. Everyone loves twins, right?
They were in the NICU for 6 weeks, so that in itself, for any child, some trauma comes. And I know that they were in multiple homes before they even got to ours, trying to keep the family intact.
When they came out, they were sick. They were premature. And then we get them when they get out of the hospital. I mean, it was stability. There was no stability there. So to get them there, it was like, dude, there was a lot. I'm one of those guys where I just say, hey, pick them up, rub some dirt on it, it'll be all right. And it kind of opens your eyes a little bit to the impact that you have on young children, before the age of 1, when you think they're just laying there, pooping in their pants and throwing up and just really not doing anything much. But there's a lot going on there, and there's a lot that is required just for their natural development. And it was kind of eye-opening there just to see these kids go through it and then to get them.
The journey began. They were in early intervention. They needed feeding therapy, milk allergies, tubes. They had adenoids removed, tonsils removed, a sugar intolerance. Their reflux was so bad. And I don't know if it was from all the allergies that we had to uncover. They were both diagnosed on the autism spectrum. I did a lot with the birth mom early on, and actually we were told at the first visit that these boys would be home in 12 months or less. That was before all the medical things kept being uncovered, one after another after another. Their mom loved them. She loved them, and she wanted to be able to provide for them. But she just, between having other children and just that chaotic lifestyle, it is a lot. And maybe it's a mom thing, but I do feel like we can overcome when you take the call for what you're supposed to do. You're kind of just given these gifts to do it. And so I just kind of did it. We put one baby on each side. Our families came to look, and I saw it in every single one of their eyes, like, what did they just do? Why are they this is crazy. Because we both worked and traveled, and it is crazy. I mean, to take things on, on the outside looking in, I know all the time people think that we're crazy, but we're not. We're not. It was not as hard as it looks, really, when you're just doing it. They're fighters, those boys are. 1, 2, 3. Our biological kids, from the very beginning, Brenna's been motherly. They were like her babies. And Colton's like the typical little brother waiting for them to get old enough to wrestle with.
At first he was oblivious to the skin color. Other kids would be like, those aren't your brothers. And like, yeah, they are. What are you talking about?
This whole experience, the groundedness that they have in today's culture, the kind of empathy and kindness that they see is something that I think is fantastic.
Now they can look at things from a different perspective. I mean, now we have a multicultural family, right? And now they're looking at things from a different point of view. Lutheran Child and Family Services was very honest, right? And very upfront. Here's what you can expect. Things might not go that way, they could go that way. But these are expectations that you should have going into it. When we asked for something, I mean, we had it. Like we didn't, if we asked for something, she would get it for us. If she didn't know something, she'd go figure it out. And if she found things that we needed to know about, she would go get that and bring it to us.
This is an organization that is truly about taking good care of children and families. Our work is rooted in God's love. It truly is, and I see that on a regular basis. We actually talk about it with our manager and amongst our team. It's a part of our daily work. We are regular human beings, we're not out here, trying to convert people, but it truly does inform our work.
What I think is important for people to know about LCFS is that we have people who are really committed to social justice and advocacy on behalf of people we serve as well as those we don't serve, and that we want a more just world and society, and that we believe that passionately and try to live that out every single day we come to work. And I think that I would want people to know that our staff are committed to that. And do we always succeed? No. But we always pick ourselves up and say, what did we learn by that, and how do we do better? Because the goal never changes.
When I think of the role of LCFS in strengthening families, I think about all the effort that was put in to make our family the best that it could be, with whatever they were given, whether it be with the biological family in the harder situations, trying to strengthen what they had there, or if there was a need for a new permanent family to make it be the best situation for everyone involved. There's probably more room in your heart than you're even aware of. I was certain that I only had enough room for one more kid, but we had plenty of room for 2, and I probably have room for 22. If you look deep enough, you'll see lots of room. The chaos can be beautiful when you have the kind of people that we came across along the way. The people at LCFS that we worked with, they were all great. I am just really grateful that we made the decision to do this. The twins are very happy kids, and it just keeps getting better.
We felt called by God to do something, worthwhile, and this was, just going back on it, I wouldn't take it back for the world. It was so rewarding to do what we've done, to touch the lives that we've touched, and heck, I've got two more boys. What more could a father ask for?
We're glad you've been with us today for this special edition of Sanctuary for a closer look at the critical work of Lutheran Child and Family Services. Your thoughts and reactions to issues and ideas at the intersection of life and faith are important to us, and we want to hear from you. Email us at gcbm@ameritech.net, visit our website at gcbm.org, and write to us at Sanctuary, in care of the Greater Chicago Broadcast Ministries, 77 West Washington Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60602. I'm Lydia Talbot. Thanks for keeping faith with us today on Sanctuary. May peace be with you.
Thank you.